Pleasure for me to introduce the guest and the speakers on this occasion. Today we have with us Professor J. Madegowda sir. He is at present working as professor in the Department of Business Administration, Vidyavardhaka College of Engineering, Mysore. Sir is hailing from an agriculture family in Mandya district. Sir had his early education in different institutions in Mandya district. Sir took his MCom degree in 1980 from the University of Mysore with first class and first rank. He also received 2 gold medals. Sir has started his career as a lecturer in 1980s with the postgraduate center Davangere. Earlier it was a part of PG Center, University of Mysore. And when this PG Center became a part of newly established Kuvempu University, his service were transferred to Kuvempu University, wherein he worked as reader, professor till his superannuation in February 2018. After superannuation, Sir has worked as a professor and dean academic, Akshara Institute of Management Studies, Shimoga for 4 years. So far, he has published more than 75 research papers in the journals of repute and 25 books. Further, Sir has presented a large number of research papers at different national and international conferences, seminars, etc. Besides organizing more than 2 dozens of seminars, workshops and conferences, Sir has also guided 25 candidates in their MPhil and PhD degree. Sir has also served in various capacities at Kuvempu University as its finance officer, vice chancellor for few months. He has also served as the member of different bodies of Kuvempu University such as Academic Council, Senate, Syndicate, Finance Committee, and Sir has also served as chairperson for Board of Studies and Board of Examinations, Dean Faculty of Commerce, Director of School of Business Studies, and Sir has also worked as a Director for Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation Board, Coordinator for IQAC, Chairman of Department of Business Administration, Tourism Administration and Commerce of Kuvempu University for few years. With all these details, I welcome you, sir, for this function. I request one of my colleagues to present him a bouquet. Naveen. Today we have another different personality, Dr. Nalina KB. She is known for a finance specialist in the Mysore and in the state. Madam has started her professional career in ICICI Home Loans in August 2001 and worked other industry till April 2006. From January 2004, she has started her teaching career as a guest faculty in Management Department of University of Mysore, and she took change from industry to teaching as a full-time lecturer from May 2006 and onwards. She has been currently serving as full-time associate professor in the Department of Management Studies, JSS CMS, JSS Science and Technology University. Madam has pursued her doctoral degree in University of Mysore on the topic stock market volatility, a case study in Indian stock market, which was awarded in April 2012. Madam has been recognized as a research guide for PhD degree in management under VTU and University of Mysore, and one research scholar has been awarded under her guideship, and currently the 4 students are pursuing the PhD under the Madam guidance. Madam has completed her post-graduation in finance from 2001 from SJC College of Engineering, Mysore, and Madam has completed her bachelor degree in 1999, PES College of Engineering, University of Mysore. Madam has having a lot of teaching experiences, and she has also published papers in journals of international and national repute, And Madam has also presented her research papers in the international and national journals. And Madam has participated as an expert and keynote speaker for various national and international conference. Madam has also authored 4 important books in the areas of finance and in the areas of finance. Madam has also won a best paper award in international conference which was organized by IMS Ghaziabad. The title of the paper is Macroeconomic Determinants of MSME Sector Growth on 5th and 6th of February 2021. Madam has also attended the various training and workshops as a resource person and as well as the participant. With these few words, I welcome you, Madam, for this program as a keynote speaker. I request one of my colleagues to present her a bouquet. Today we have one more, my own colleague, Dr. Chinnaya, who is also serving as an assistant professor in management department, who is serving in the university from past 11 years as an assistant professor, and who is also actively engaged in teaching learning process of the university, and he has published more than 15 research papers in the journals of international and national repute. He has also participated as a presenter of research paper in the national and international journals. He has also won the best paper presentation awards from the international conference which was organized by the University of Pune. And he has also authored a few self-learning materials in the areas of finance and accounting. With these few words, I welcome Dr. Chinnaya to this session, post-lunch session. Now I request Professor Madegowda sir to take over the session. Thank you.
A very warm welcome to each one of you for this post-lunch session. I also appreciate the effort or the initiative by the Department of Business Administration for organizing this two-day conference. And at the outset, I also thank the organizers for inviting me to preside over this paper presentation session, which is a comparatively much easier task than delivering the keynote address. Friends, there are a lot of areas wherein remarkable developments are taking place. Now, for example, if we look into accounting or finance, banking, now all these courses did not find a place in either the BCom curricula or MCom curricula a few years ago. Now, each one of these disciplines has branched out as a separate program of study, like a Master of Financial Accounting or Financial Management, Master of Banking, Master of Accounting Information System, like this. And this is the kind of a development that are taking place in the area of business studies. And it is very difficult for any academician to cope up with these developments. Now, let me narrate one simple story of my own experience. Now, this is about the International Financial Reporting Standards. In India, now the Ministry of Corporate Affairs decided to converge Indian accounting standards with IFRS, effective for Phase 1 companies from 1st April 2016 and for Phase 2 companies from 1st April 2017. I started working on a volume on Ind AS about 15 years ago. Now, by the time I completed the final draft, there were a lot of changes. About 200-page material becoming irrelevant, and they added another 500-page material. This has now this is the kind of developments. Every day, the International Accounting Standards Board is making a lot of changes. Similarly, even in the case of finance, now we have the behavioral finance which is assuming importance. Then the financial analytics, digitalization. Now all these are the developments which our student community is unable to grasp because of this fast changing. And therefore, friends, this conference, this technical session, I'm sure, is going to throw light on different dimensions of changes in the finance domain. And with these few words, now I request keynote speaker, Dr. Nalina, to present the keynote address. Madam.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, today's two-days conference, which is on sustainable development and innovation management practices. Sustainable development is taking up a very forefront place in part of research because the topic itself is new. So, what is sustainable financing? We need to work on it because there are a lot of reports which are being generated on sustainable financing, okay, and nowadays because of green finance and the carbon footprint that has been left out by other things, sustainability is taking up a key role. So for today's researcher in finance, there will be more challenge in place of sustainable financing. There are various models which are being developed in sustainable financing. So today's researcher who are taking up the research, you can focus on the sustainable financing, and more scope would be so for the sustainable financing. All dimensions we are looking out. Engineering, we are talking about sustainability. Environmental, we are talking about sustainability. So everywhere, sustainability is becoming a key importance. So the role of sustainable finance would be more in future. So that is why I request all the researchers to focus more attention on the sustainable financing, where the papers or the literatures that are available till now, it is very limited. So with this, I think I'll pay way for the presenters to present their paper. So we are very enthusiastic to listen to whatever the topics that you have decided to work, you have already worked on. So with these few words, I will end my talk. Thank you.
Dear friends, I thank Dr. Nalina for highlighting the need to work on sustainable financing. And there are 7 papers to be presented in this technical session. The titles of the papers are missing. Anyhow, I'll read out the names of the paper presenters so that they can present their papers in the same order. One is Srimati Ashalata, 2 Srimati Bhavyashri, 3 Dr. Mahesh, 4 Dr. Kalidas, 5 Srimati Spurti, 6 Dr. Subramani V, and number 7 Dr. Tippeswamy. Now I request and invite Srimati Ashalata to present her paper. Now each paper presenter can take not more than 10 minutes, followed by interaction for about 2 to 3 minutes.
Respected dignitaries on the dais and my co-scholars. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Ashalata. I'm a research scholar from Vijayanagara Sri Krishnadevara University, Ballari. So today, I'm going to present my paper on the title, The Catalyst Effect, Examining the Evolution of Venture Capital Funding in India's Economic Narrative, in collaboration with Dr. Raghavendra Rao NR, Assistant Professor, VSK University, Ballari. So, my topic covers the venture capital, the importance of venture capital funding in India. So, the study goes through analyzing through descriptive study. So, by introducing the topic, venture capital funding is a pivotal source of investment for early stage and high potential startups, providing not only financial backing but also strategic guidance and industry expertise. So, venture capital funding is a form of financing provided by investors to startups and small businesses that are deemed to have high growth potential. Unlike the traditional bank loans, venture capital is typically invested in exchange for equity ownership in the company. So the study encapsulates the essence of understanding the evolution and dynamism of venture capital funding over the last decade. And this study covers for the period of from 2015 to 2022. The study goes through the stages, evolution, by taking the evolution of the venture capital funding. Before 2000, the venture capital funding in India is mostly in traditional areas like IT, medicine, and manufacturing. So already the investors are already impressed to invest in already successful business, and there were not many venture capital firms in India during this time. So it is rarely seen venture capitalist funding in venture capital firms. So around from 2000 to 2010, things started changing a lot. How investors were putting money into new business in India. So there is a big increase in investment. So like especially in the areas like IT, software services sector, and so companies like Infosys, Wipro become very successful in this period. So investors are very interested to invest inspired to invest in Indian startups. So later on from 2010 to 2020, it's a showing a, there is a journey of startups in India. There is lot more changes taken up in this period. So both long-lasting patterns and new trends introduced in venture capital funding. So later on, my research paper reviewed many of the articles and picked some of the very relevant literature review, gone through the, some of the literature have been studied and 5 of them have been showcased in my paper. So 2 of them I presented in my presentation paper and 5 of them are mentioned in my research paper. My objective of the study goes through to examine the impact on market conditions by exit opportunity by venture capital funding in Indian economic narrative. Here, most of the paper I reviewed, they spotted market condition as independent variable and exit opportunity as and many other variables are kept as dependent variable. But here I took exit opportunity as independent variable for the venture capitalist, because it is very important for the venture capitalist. They are seeing exit opportunity is the benefit to them to recover their amount invested in the venture capital firms. So in my perception, by seeing the exit opportunity, venture capitalists are interested to invest in the venture capital firms. That's why I took exit opportunity as independent variable, and market conditions are changing according to the exit opportunity. So my scope of the study is undertaken during the period from 2015 to 2022. I think it's very few years to examine. I tried to cover more areas, but for limited source of information, I covered only 8 years of information. My nature of the study paper, nature of the study is descriptive in nature. Tools I used is a linear regression method, and variables I took exit opportunity and market conditions. For exit opportunity, I took a number of exits of venture capital firms, average exit value of venture capital firms, and valuation of the VC exits. And for dependent variable, market condition, number of deals of VC, average deal size, and deal flow as variables for the dependent variable, that is market condition. So I collected data from annual report of venture capital funding, from the annual report of Bain and Company, pitch book, that's it. And from annual reports, I took data from them. Methodology followed is a hypothesized relationship between independent and dependent variable, that is exit opportunity and market conditions of the venture capital firms. So hypothesis is, I try to analyze if there is a relationship between, there is a significant influence of exit opportunity on market conditions of venture capital funding. Or the alternative hypothesis says there is a significant influence of exit opportunity on market conditions of venture capital funding. So I took from 2015 to 2022, those variables have been descriptively studied, and the findings of the study is chart. Show me the chart. Back. So here, the number of venture capital deals. Before. The number of venture capital deals. So here we can see, we can analyze from the graph. In 2015, there is 987 venture capital deals has been occurred, And going through from 2015 to 2022, there is a lot of increase in the number of venture capital deals in India. That is from 987 to there is a drastical increase from to 1611 venture capital deals. So next. Now we can go through the chart also. Here I mentioned average deal size and we see deal flow. Next. So number of exits, VC exits, venture capital exits, and as well as overall exits. Means it includes IPO exit, mergers and acquisition exits, and etc. Many forms of exits are there. All of the exits have been showed in the graph from 2015 to 2022. In 2015, there is 186 companies have been got the opportunity to exit. In 2015, there is 186 companies exited from the through exit opportunity, and in 2022 there is a reduction in the number of exits in venture capital funding. That is 89 companies in 2022. In this chart, we can come to know that there is a slowdown of number of exits of venture capital funding. So annual venture capitalist, the information is, the data is analyzed through the chart, and my findings are exit counts from 186 companies to 89 companies. It means the exit counts have been reduced, and 44 million in 2022 means the value of exit have been increased. By going through the chart and table, we can come to know that the value has been increased, but the number of exits has been decreased. It means the investors, the venture capital investors are interested to exit, to take exit as exit opportunity to make some benefits out of the investment. But the value has been increased, but the number of exits have been decreased. So average exit values is steadily rose from $13 million in 2015, marking a significant uptrend in VC funding. In 2022, in 2021, there is a remarkable uptrend in the record-breaking exit. It means it made a $14 million value of exit out of in a single year 2021. It means I can identify it as an outlier because many of the years have steadily increased. But in 2022, there is an upsurge in the exit value of venture capital exits. So this is my finding, and finally, up to my vital steps have to be taken from venture capital investment, that is as per the study, to foster venture capital growth in India, enhancing regulatory clarity, promoting entrepreneurship through education, fostering collaborative ecosystems, attracting foreign investments, strengthening intellectual property protections, providing tax incentives for investors, and facilitating easier access to capital markets are the vital steps have to be taken to make further development in investing in the venture capital funding. So my conclusion and adaptability is global VC venture capital investments is surged to 38.5 billion in 2021, but slowed to 25.7 billion in 2022. So resilience in India displayed resilience in 2022, indicating adaptability amid global challenges despite funding slowdown. So thanking you so much.
Thank you, Madam, for presenting
Sir,
your research paper on venture capital. Just for my knowledge, now clarify one or two issues. Now you mentioned about the number of deals and also the number of exits. In the case of a number of deals completed, overall, year to end last year, there is an improvement. During this period, there were many fluctuations, increase and decrease. Did you made any attempt to investigate the reasons as to why the numbers fluctuated?
Sir, as per my knowledge, going through the many referred articles, 2021 is a remarkable year which made like a very drastical volatility in the number of deals and exit values, sir, because of pandemic and because of Ukraine war and many other issues have been raised in that year, in my opinion. That's why India as a hub of startups, sir. There is the globe is seeing India as a great opportunity to make benefit out of the economic growth of India. That's why in 2000 year there is a that's why I kept my topic as the catalyst effect, because catalyst means it is a light speed. So increasing trend, there is an increasing trend in venture capital funding. Many of the venture capitalists are seeing exit opportunity as an opportunity to make benefit out of the present scenario in the venture capital areas, because venture capital means making innovative businesses, high potential startups have been coming in this area of venture capital funding, because no venture capitalists are interested in the low trending businesses. High potential businesses are seeking venture funding. That's why that is the reason many ups and downs are there. But overall, for 8 years, limited years have been taken. It is also one of my limitation. I took only 8 years of my study. But there is an increasing trend in the venture capital funding as per my knowledge. Sorry if any.
No problem, no problem. I fully agree with you. But only thing is, when we study the trend, we should not focus only on the overall. In between, what has happened? Why?
Yes.
This is one part of the story. Now the second one is, I'm sorry if I'm taking more time. Now you have considered the market conditions as one of the variables. Exit options as another variable. Usually the market conditions are external, non-controllable.
Yes, sir.
Usually they are independent.
Yes, sir.
But you have considered this as dependent,
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
exit options as independent.
Yes, sir.
Can you give some justification?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure,
Because
sir.
now exit option by one or few options, they do not influence the market conditions substantially. But the changes in the market conditions will influence the exit options substantially. Right. What is your
Sir,
justification?
my guide also asked same question,
No,
sir.
no, no. Don't bring your guide
Okay,
to
okay,
this.
sir.
You are the paper presenter.
Okay,
you
okay, sir.
you own this.
Sir.
Right.
As per my knowledge,
Okay, no problem. Please.
as per in my opinion, sir, sir, it is very pleasure to express my intentions also, sir. Thank you so much for asking. For sir,
Each one of us will learn.
okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, in my opinion, I kept exit opportunity as an independent variable. Why? Because in general perception, many of the venture funders, venture capitalists, who, not in a formal way, formal way also, they are seeking what benefit I get from uh, by funding in the venture businesses. So their sentiment, just like investors' sentiment also play a vital role in changing the market conditions of venture. Especially I focused on venture capital funding. That's why I kept exit opportunity is a can play an independent role, independent variable. So that's why I kept exit opportunity as independent variable. Why? Because investors are very much interested in exit opportunity because they get benefit out of the exit opportunity, sir.
Okay. Still
Sir.
I don't agree, but I respect your views.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್. ಸರ್ ಇನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಮಾತು ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕೆ ಸರ್, ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಮೈಂಡ್. ನಂಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಎಮೋಷನ್ಸ್ನ ನಾನು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಅರ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜು 10th ಆಯಿತು, ಮನೇಲೇ ಕೂಡಿಸಿದ್ರು, ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನನಗೊಂದು ಒಂದು 10th ನಾನು ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ನೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. M.Com ನಾನು ಇದೇ KSOU ಇಂದ ಮಾಡಿ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲ ಡಿಗ್ರಿನೂ PGನೂ ಎಲ್ಲ KSOU ಇಂದನೇ ಮಾಡೀನಿ. ಇದರಿಂದ ನನಗೆ ಜೀವನ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಸರ್. ಇದಾದಮೇಲೆ M.Com ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು KSET ನೆಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕಾಯಿತು. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟಲ್ಲೇ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆದೆ. ನಾನೆಲ್ಲೂ ಕೋಚಿಂಗೆಲ್ಲೂ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಮನೇಲೇ ಇದೆ. ಈಗ ಅಸಿಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಆಗಿ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಸರ್, ಈಗ ರೀಸೆಂಟಾಗಿ ನಡೆದಿರೋದು. ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾರಣ ಅಂದರೆ ನನಗೆ KSOU M.Com ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನನಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡ್ತಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ನನಗಿದು ಜೀವನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋಂಥ ಒಂದು ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನ ಥರ ನನಗೆ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ತುಂಬ ಎಮೋಷ್ನಲ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನನಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಈ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ನ ನಾನು ಹೇಗೆ ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ನನಗೊಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ದಿಮ್ ನನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿರೋದನ್ನಾದರೂ ಆಚೆ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನನಗೊಂದು ಅವಕಾಶ ಸಿಕ್ತು. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರು ಆಗ ನಾನು M.Com ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾರಿದ್ರು ಏನೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್, ಇದು ನನ್ನ ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನದ ಥರ. ನಾನಿನ್ನು ಮನಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿಯಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ KSOU ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಂದ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನನ್ನ ಜೀವನನೇ ಕಟ್ಕೊಡ್ತು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಸರ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್. ಸರಿ, ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್?
Okay, thank you, madam.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್.
Now I invite Srimati Bhavyashri to present her paper. Please take not more than 10 minutes.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್.
Good afternoon, one and all. Myself, Bhavyashri, research scholar, VTU PG Center. My co-author is Dr. Veena KP, Assistant Professor, VTU PG Center. Today I am going to present Association of Microfinance Institution and overview. This is the logo. And content of article is introductions, literature review, objectives, and methodology, data analysis, and conclusion. Introduction. ACME was established in 2007 to bring in better transparency and governance, client protections and ethical practices among the MFIs in Karnataka. It is a self-regulated authority with a code of conduct for its members. ACME is a registered society under the Societies Act 1960. ACME aims to cover all microfinance institutions functioning in Karnataka as its members to bring uniformity in a community development and strengthen MFIs functions and resolve conflicts among MFIs and coordinate with the other partners. So in literature review, for this paper I studied 8 literature review. Here I put a 4 literature review. The objective of the study is to highlight the ACME members of the institution and to compare and contrast the progress report of ACME between 2001 to 2023 to analyze the financial performance of the ACME. Methodology of the study. The study is based on the secondary data collection from ACME. Secondary sources is collected from annual audited reports and website and books, etc. So in 2023 and 24, ACME had totally 27 members, in that 18 non-banking financial companies MFIs and 1 non-banking financial companies and 2 trusts, that is Sri Kshetra Dharmasthala Rural Development Project and BSS Microfinance Institution Limited, and 6 small finance banks. When GLG and self-help groups loans are taken into accounts, the microfinance sectors in Karnataka has increased at a rate of 10% during 2022 and 23 and 19.69% during 2023 and 24, reaching 46,400.07 crores. It's making the state one of the largest in terms of a portfolio size. The ACME will be able to pay its existing liabilities on time and without any problems. So the current ratio is receiving more attention from ACME, which reduces the surplus. And debt equity ratio is increasing every year. Because of that reason, the company is getting a surplus is low. And proprietary ratio is decreasing compared to 2021. Reason is to be that the total assets of the ACME be decreasing. The proprietary ratio is decreasing every year. The reason is that ACME has the same corpus fund throughout the year. Return on equity is decreased to 57.96% in 2022 compared to 2021 because company surplus is decreasing, and 2023 and 23 it slightly increased 8.18%, and return on asset is decreased 22.31% in 2022 and 23, and it's increased 2.61% in 2023 and 24. So ACME ROA is a 6.04%. This means the ACME is earned. The study implies that ACME should be high liquidity. It leads to less surplus. In conclusions, ACME is giving a more prominence to liquidity and less preference for investment in the other area. Due to mismanagement or less decision making, ACME have the less surplus. The proprietary ratio is decreasing every year. The reason is that ACME has the same corpus fund throughout the year. The debt equity ratio is increases, which result in a low surplus for the association. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for your nice presentation. But kindly tell us the focus of your study. Because you mentioned about the number of members, loans, etc. Then immediately you switch it on to the ratio analysis.
Yes.
What is the purpose with which you took up this study?
It is my first paper. So
No problem. Doesn't matter. Okay?
okay.
Right.
For overall ACME, I tried to analyze.
Okay.
So in that I collected annual report. In that I took ratio analysis.
Right.
And I find out the ACME members. So it's decreasing every year, 2 members are decreasing, but still it's have a more outstanding.
Okay.
And
Now, there is a general concept that these microfinancial institutions are charging comparatively higher rate of interest.
yes, sir.
Did you make any attempt to discuss this issue with the officials of this institution?
Oh, no, sir. Next time definitely I will do that.
Now, what might be the reason for the decline in proprietary ratio on the one hand and increase in the debt equity ratio on the other? One is, of course, for the decline in the proprietary ratio, you made a mention that it is because of a reduction in the surplus.
Surplus, yes, sir.
What are the reasons for the decline in the commercial surplus?
It may be COVID 2019.
Okay,
And
that
that
is
time-
only for 1 year or 2 years.
Yeah. Because of that reason also, company get so much of losses on that time.
Okay.
And it's take a time to recover. So,
So what I felt is, yes, you made a good effort to study the financial performance of association. Okay, but for a research, so as sir mentioned, you should be specific about the problems that you have identified. So please do effort for identifying what is there, what is the crux of all the problems that exist in microfinance, and then carry out your research. That will
sure, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Now I invite Dr. Mahesh.
Good evening, respected chair, keynote speaker, and session moderator, and my respected presenters. I'm Dr. Mahesh, Principal Jain Group of Institution in Bangalore. I'm a postdoctoral fellow of Srinivasa University. My topic for the research is a conceptual paper. The conceptual paper relating to the impact of centralized blockchain digital currency for the financial inclusion and the sustainability. It is a conceptual paper based on to study how the CBDC is impact on the sustainable goals of 17 sustainable goals, how it impact and how it improves the financial inclusion in India. The conceptual paper I studied, and by taking on the website and the CBDC tracker and the lot of banking annual reports and the RBI conceptual report relating to CBDC. My area of study is sustainability. To know how it impact and what are the regulations which are RBI has taken into consideration for the to come out with the CBDC. How many countries they are started introducing this CBDC, when it is started, and all these things I want to know about the present scenario of the currency and how it impact on the printing and minting of the currencies, whether the CBDC, RBI CBDCs, whether it will improve, reduce the cost and efficiency and the efficiency of the printing of currencies, how it improves the financial inclusion. In this area, conceptual paper, I divided into purpose. The purpose is abstract, and design and methodology. I taken into after my study. I framed the 5 Cs conceptual model for the suggesting the RBI for the future implementation. Now it is in the pilot. And object of the study, I said the 4 objectives, and research methodology is a conceptual one, and results I find a little bit there is impact on the financial inclusion, and the printing of minting of currency will be cost will be reduced in the future. Where my studies is focused on these areas. First of all, that digital currency, just it is conceptual paper is started when the way back in 1980s when Nobel laureate James Tobin, economist, who was given the idea about the digital currency to protect the sustainability future generation, taking into consideration the protect the environment and come out with a lot of governance and reduce the cost. Then later on RBI and lot of countries are started pilot study. In India we started taken about the 2 pilot studies, and the digital market currency or e-rupee in the wholesale segment, which is called CBDC-W, and CBDC retail, that is for the public. It is based on the blockchain distributed ledger technology. I'll not go into the technological part, where the technological part involves a lot of thinking. Still, it is in a pilot study, where it is basically based on the blockchain technology. It is different from the cryptocurrency that, where I studied, when I studied, gone through the review of literature, I come to know that one it is differently from the a currency, which is we call as a cryptocurrency that. So where it is a centralized currency, where RBI has a fully control over the printing and distribution of the currencies to the various pilot banks, which is association with the Reserve Bank of India, that where this particular CBDC, how it impact on the sustainability and how it improves the financial inclusion on that area. It definitely it is in the future it will have a great impact on the financial inclusion in all the, especially when you taken care of the awareness about the digital currency among the public, and reduce the black money, which is when we reduce the black money, that then automatically we can think about the introducing the a lot of innovative things for which is well-being of the society. That so when you're talking about this particular sustainability, you see that one due to the technological revolution, especially BharatNet, central government has introduced the BharatNet. It makes the CBDC to move the rural area, that where BharatNet has provided in all the Gram Panchayats, which gives the great scope for the central bank and RBI to transfer the direct benefit transfer. Through the direct benefit transfer, it reaches to the particular person who is beneficiaries, and that way that improves the financial inclusion in the future, especially for MSMEs. MSME is a great impact on the Indian economy in terms of the sustainability development goals, where it can reach to the loan, can reach to the quickly, and cross payment technology, where you'll help the digital currency, will help the cross payment and in cutting the cost and the improving the financial performance in reaching the financial benefits to the mass in India. That so when I studied that, it reaches the out of the 17 sustainable goals, it reaches the it impact on the 7 sustainable goals. No poverty. How no poverty means DBDT is a one area where they can CBDC can transfer the funds to the direct benefit transfer. We can some extent we can reduce the poverty, where the morning when the keynote speaker has discussed about the where the midday meal scheme, who are providing the midday meal schemes to the government schools, who are providing the midday meal schemes to the various yojanas of the central government and the state government will reach to the all the levels of the lower level of the people. Through the digital currency, we can improve the financial inclusion and we can make the society more sustainable. That the second one is it reaches the quality education. That so quality education now that state government is also launched for the Yuva Yojana, that where they are transferring the funds to the unemployed till one more year, where still they get the employment. The CBDC is a one way you can improve the education system, and through the transferring the funds to the required students who can take the studies. They want to study the different courses, so they can get the government schemes benefits. So where CBDC is the one way they include the financial inclusion. And third one is the decent work and economic growth, SDG 8. Decent growth and economic growth, you know that when it creates the cashless economy, that already UPI has a lot of impact. It is different from the UPI that. So CBDC is different from the UPI. It creates the cashless society in the future, where digital currency will definitely will create the cashless, already is created. When we are going for each and every morning, early morning, when I take on the tea, I transfer the 10 rupees that. In the future, that way we can transfer the digital currency through the to the vendors, different vendors or different people who are, when we purchase the any of the material, that it create the cashless. How it create the cashless society and how it improve the economy means when reduce the cost of printing of currencies and minting of coins, automatically cost will be less when quick transfer will be taken place from the country to country. So automatically that help the economy to grow. So we already, yesterday when you see the GDP is already reaching to the 7th point where GDP is increasing. We have a good vision about reaching the 5 trillion economy. Definitely the CBDC is India is the third country in terms of the digital empowerment of the financial empowerment. Then we have industry, innovation and infrastructure. So that's why in infrastructure, when you're talking about CBDC, government has come out with the 2 pilot study. That's why it is called wholesale and the retail. Wholesale for the stock market, where the money market, where banks can borrow the funds through the digital currency, where retail, just it is in a way of pilot study, where people still, some of the banks are started transferring their employees' benefit through CBDC, the RBI's digital currency. The way it is infrastructure also, the BharatNet is a one way where 5G is another infrastructure which is provided for the development of these type of digital currency. Already we are in National Payment Corporation has taken the bold step. It is already a tie-up with the collaboration with the Abu Dhabi for the transferring the funds in that particular country, where this is a one way where the innovation, and India is a very innovative country in terms of the technological development. That's why we have a fintech, we have a green tech, we have a various type of tech companies, especially green tech is doing a lot of wonderful work. Fintech is doing a lot of wonderful work in terms of the financial inclusion and the digital innovation. In this way, CBDC is one of the impact on the SDG 8 in terms of the, SDG 9 in terms of the innovation and the infrastructure. Responsible consumer production, you know that one, it automatically, when we have a digital currency, we'll start saving the funds. We will not spend more. So money, when we have a more cash, it is my analysis, when we have more cash, we'll start spending that. When we have a digital form, we'll little bit will hesitate. There is a more savings will be taken place. When more savings will be taken place, automatically, just as a responsible consumers, and we are start using the environmental aspect for the future generation. That then we another SDG, it reach partnership for the goals. Already RBI is tied up with the 17 banks, private banks and the commercial banks. They already tie up with the National Payment Corporation. In this way, collaboration which makes this particular digital currency as a more impact. And automatically the RBI has also made lot of regulations in the rules and regulation relating to CBDC. The first impact is the regulation relating to Finance Act. In 2022, Finance Act, Reserve Bank of India Act, and Information Technology Act, Foreign Exchange Management Act, Prevention of Money Laundering Act of 2002, Banking Regulation Act, and Payment Act. And last framework I prepared for based on my study is Approach 5 framework, that is collaboration. Automatically collaboration will move the financial inclusion more, and the digital inclusion will be more. Cross-border transaction, so very quick cross-border transaction will be there, and you need not to go for any middle countries for the transfer, and it reduces the cost. And last, cost effective, and the last aspect is, I already explained about 5 objectives, and last conclusion is, so it has a lot of impact in the future when based on the pilot study of both retail and the wholesale. There's a one chart is there, retail and wholesale, where it has an impact on the, just this slide, I'll conclude that. It has an impact on the both wholesale and the second slide, sir. Okay. So that particular, it has a impact on the both the retail and the wholesale. CBDC has a more impact in both financial market as well as the for the consumer public. So my study conclusion is, the last conclusion part is, it has a impact on the life of the people in terms of the RBI can reduce the cost and in costing printing in currencies, and at the same time the direct benefit transfer can be easily transferred and it will improve the welfare of the society in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mahesh, for highlighting the developments in the area of technology, more particularly in the case of currency, etc. But a few observations. One is, of course, global leaders have agreed to the targets against each of 17 sustainable development goals, which they agreed to reach by 2030.
30.
Now, in your presentation, you made a mention that this digital currency, no doubt, it can easily be transferred. But how does this digital currency influence the quality of education, except the transfer of a fund without wasting time, without much cost from one party to another? What is its impact on the quality of education? This is only an example. There are a few more areas. Okay.
My observation through the study of literature reviews and my paper preparation, how it impact on the SDG education in terms of education, where the digital currency, everyone started using the smartphone. When they started using the smartphone in e-learning, now I'm one of the student of the Karnataka State Open University. I'm a first batch student of the postgraduate diploma in human resource management. When they started the first batch of human resource management, I had come personally here and I paid the fees and I taken the receipt. Now, due to the digital currency, where my education, I can pay the fees without coming to the particular center, I can pay. At the same time, where the education means, when people started seeing the digital contents, it has become the self-learning. In that way,
Okay, please.
in that way, this particular digital currency will influence the people to think how to transfer, how to use, how to collect the money. In that way, it helps for the education. At the same time, when India has come out with this particular digital currency, people will not go abroad for the...
Kindly confined to the influence of digital currency on the quality of education.
So
now you mentioned that you have saved a lot of time. Instead of coming from Bangalore to Mysore to make the payment of a fee, now you can directly remit. Except this. Now, in what way digital currency has influenced the quality of your education?
this is only
This
my...
is number one. Number two, now you can easily transfer the money. Easy. Of course, there are a lot of problems. But the thing is, where is the money? Unless you create an opportunity for the people to earn, where is the need or the meaning or justification for transferring money from one to another?
that's right.
Yes, kindly confine
Yeah,
only to
it
this.
is also, it gives the lot of entrepreneurs to develop the various technology, and educating the entrepreneurs when they come out with a lot of technology, it automatically it gives the income. So income is there, industry is there, income will be there, income is there, the economy will grow. So at the same time, education means we require income that. So now today we are talking about just, I want to collect the information from your expertise where I can incorporate how it make the sustainable goals. So if you give the more information, sir, I can add it to the SDG education in terms of what my study, that's why I
Okay, no problem.
constrain it. Still it is in a pilot.
Now we appreciate your attempt to come out with some new ideas.
So thank you.
But we have certain observation. So let us try to learn from each other. That's all. Thank you.
So give me some more info, if you have any idea, more idea about how it creates the education, that kindly I'll interact
you.
with you, sir,
Thank you.
that
Thank you.
definitely it will, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I once again, I'll thank the organizing Karnataka State Open University has
Right.
provided the opportunity, and the chairperson, session chair, and the co-chair, and the moderator, and all my research fellows. Thank you so much, namaste.
Thank you, Dr. Mahesh. Now I request Dr. Kalidas to make the presentation.
Good afternoon, dignitaries on the dais and my co-participants. My topic is about the impact level of selected factors to determine share price of commercial banks in India. So with respect to this particular title, I am the Kalidas Research Scholar, Department of Management, Mukta Gangotri, Mysore, and my co-author is Dr. Savita P., the research guide. And this topic is about when it comes to the stock market, the capital market plays a significant role for establishment of any companies that matter. So even banking companies, the core competency among the Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange, who can able to recognize and identify the majority of the share portions or belongs to the banks. So which matters that the banks can able to take a special innovations or special initiations to capital for the sustainability development. And meanwhile, this paper is about to determine the share price, how the share price to be determined with respect to the commercial banks. So the study which I have taken is for 2017-18 to 2021-22. A uniqueness of this paper is to find the level of impact, the selected factors of the share price. So with respect to this, when it comes to introduction part, as you know that the share price may rise, fall as per the index, and maybe that is affected by many factors. Maybe the internal factors or external factors, maybe the micro level factors or macro level factors. So for my study, I limited my study with respect to only 4 factors with concern to earnings per share, price to book value of shares, net interest margin, profit earnings ratio. So these 4 factors, by keeping these 4 factors as a base, I analyzed the share price of commercial banks in India. And with respect to, as you know that there are 37 sample size, when it comes to sample size, 37 banks are there, out of which I have taken study for 6 banks. So when it comes to India, we can able to see it's the combination of all, the public sector banks are there, private sector banks are there, foreign sector banks are there. Among the combination of all these 37 banks in India which are operating, and all these 37 banks are enlisted, they registered their the banking company names in NSE as well as BSE, National Stock Exchange as well as Bombay Stock Exchange. So with respect to National Stock Exchange and Bombay Stock Exchange, out of 37 banks I had taken for study the 6 banks. Among those 6 banks which consist of the banks taken for the study is Bank of Baroda, Canara Bank, UCO Bank, Indian Bank, ICICI Bank and Axis Bank. So among these 6 banks, it's a combination of the Bank of Baroda is the public sector bank, Canara Bank is a public sector bank, and the UCO Bank is the public sector bank, Indian Bank is the public sector bank, whereas in case of ICICI Bank and Axis Bank are the private sector banks. It's a combination of both I have considered for the study. So it means the 4 factors I have taken for the study, and the 6 banks I have taken for to analyze the share price. Now let us come to the, with respect to the variables which I have taken is price earning ratio, the price to book value ratio, the net interest margin and market price per share. With respect to price earning ratio, price to book value ratio and net interest margin, these are the independent variables to be taken into account, and the one dependent variable, that is market price per share. So we are going to analyze the price earnings ratio, how it's going to impact on the market price per share of the commercial bank, and the price book to book value ratio, how it's going to impact on the market price per share, and net interest margin, how it's going to. So one thing we have to analyze at the basic concept level. So as you know that when it comes to the manufacturing sector and the service sector, they have different products and different services. But whereas it comes to the banking sector, we can able to identify that the input is the money, the processing is the money, and the output is the money. So in such case, so they all completely, their input, processing and output is completely about the money. So the money is very important. It means the how they can able to generate the funds, how they can able to make the best utilize of the investments. That's really matters. So with respect to commercial banks, with respect to these variables, what I have taken is, now let us see about price earning ratio. The price earning ratio from 2017, yeah, this is the ratio what I studied. So with respect to the study, I have taken the simple multiple regression analysis. I took on all the 5 years balance sheet of these banks, and I gone through various the websites and various the materials which I studied, and I come to the conclusion, and I come to the table of this, how it is the evaluated, how it is. The 2017-18 to 2021-22. There I have taken 3 important analysis: mean, standard deviation, and the coefficient of variation. So with respect to this table, I can able to see the graph for this table. The next slide. Yeah, this is a slide what it indicates. The Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, Indian Bank, and UCO Bank, and Canara Bank, and Bank of Baroda. So with respect to this price earning ratio, I can able to understand that Axis Bank is highest among all, which indicates high risk involved. High risk involved. Obviously, what we say, actually the state, it compared to the public sector bank of State Bank of India, Axis Bank has came very recently, but it has made tremendous high in the price of shares. But it's not good actually. Always the price has to increase gradually based on its gradual performance level. But all of a sudden it's increasing, and all of a sudden it may be able to fall down. That may be chances. That's the reason always with this study I can able to see the Axis Bank is highest among all, which is the indicates highest risk. High risk is involved. And when it comes to ICICI Bank, there is a 29.54 indicates the market price of share price still higher than the other banks. The coefficient of variations of UCO Bank, when it comes to UCO Bank, is the highest 1.9197, which indicates the highest fluctuation of the bank's earnings to share. So whereas coefficient of variance of ICICI Bank is lowest among all. So with this, I would like to suggest that there is a less fluctuation of the bank's terms in earning multiple. So generally, when it comes to the manufacturing sectors, branded companies, so the share price of the commercial banks are very reasonably moderate, not very high, not very low. So it has go in a small amount of increase, small amount of decrease. The next slide is about price to book value ratio. Price to book value ratio, here I consider 2017-18 to 2021-22. Here also I consider all the 6 banks, and here also I considered mean, standard deviation, coefficient variance. With respect to this table, I would like to present the graph for this. So here with this graph, you can able to see the analysis. The analysis is nothing but the average book value per share of ICICI Bank is 2.37 with a standard deviation of 0.5620 and coefficient of variation is 0.2371. So which indicates that high fluctuation of the bank's book value share is ICICI Bank. So book value per share is more in case of ICICI Bank. And the next is about net interest margin. The next is about net interest margin. So this is the table what I indicates about complete study about the net interest margin. I would like to tell you about net interest margin. This is the one factor, the really very important and very considerable. We cannot able to skip this factor. This is very important essentially because the earning profit for the any bank is interest. Interest what they charged on the loans. Interest what they charged on the services what they provide. And one interest what they provide to the deposits. So on one hand, they're going to receive the interest on loans. On the other hand, they're going to pay the interest to the deposits. What is the margin for that? What is the net profit, net margin of the interest? That is essential because almost every bank is, differ in this matter. Maybe according to the Reserve Bank of India, they may be having a different interest rate range. But with respect to the range, again, they can able to play their own role on the promotional activities with respect to make more earnings in terms of interest, and can able to pay sufficient interest on the deposit holders.
Try to
So-
summarize
Yes, sir.
as early as possible.
Okay, sir, sure, sir. So next it comes to analysis of this net interest margin. The analysis of net interest margin. The mean net interest margin of ICICI Bank has slightly higher than the other banks, which indicates that ICICI Bank stood first in the efficient use of investment. As per my study, what I have taken the 6 banks, Bank of Baroda, UCO Bank, Indian Bank, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, among these banks, so what I can found is, it's about ICICI Bank, which is slightly higher than the other implied banks. And then the mean net interest margin of Canara Bank is lowest. So among the sampled banks, this indicates that less efficiency. The ICICI Bank has a high efficiency, and whereas in case of the Canara Bank has a less efficiency with respect to net interest margin is concerned. Yes, about earnings per share. So it comes to earnings per share, the analysis of earnings per share. The price, Bank of Baroda Bank has highest variation of the dispersion of with respect to earnings per share. So with respect to Bank of Baroda, we can able to see a lot of dispersion in the earnings per share. It means what it indicates that this is not, it may be very not able to accept it. It's very important that for the bank, they have to have a very stable performance and the gradual performance. And whereas in case of Indian Bank, has the lowest variation of dispersion. So it means the Bank of Baroda has the highest dispersion, and the Indian Bank has the lowest dispersion. The next slide is market price per share. So all these 3 factors, how it's going to affected on the market price per share. The Indian Bank has highest variation of dispersion with respect to market price per share, and then Axis Bank has a lowest variation with respect dispersion of 28%. And my conclusion is, the share of commercial banks dominate the portfolio of majority of the investors. Majority of the investors, it may be institutional investors or individual investors, among their portfolio, the major their investment belongs to the bank shares, banking company shares. So the banking sector plays a crucial role in Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange. That's what I mentioned earlier itself. Among the Bombay Stock Exchange, the listed top companies, the majority of the shares belongs to the banks. And as same in the National Stock Exchange also, the majority shares belongs to the banks. If the banks shares came down, it's going to affect on the indices, their index, base index and the NSE index. And next is about during the study of the study, I found that the investors are more of rational rather than much aware of the before. So nowadays I can able to agree that majority of the people in India, they got a strong awareness about the demat account, making it transactions. Instead of going for a traditional pattern of the investments, now they're coming slowly shifting towards from the traditional factor of investments to demat account holders. And again, they're also dealing with the shares, debentures, commodities, options, swaps. So various commodities they're dealing about.
Kindly conclude.
Yes, yes. So with this, I would like to say the last sentence. The investors who holds the stock for longer priced should charge less capital gain tax. Thus, it recommended to BSE and NSE to reduce their broker commission. See, that's going to impact on the investors' investment portfolio. So they have to reduce as much as their commission what they're charging to the investors. So with this, I would like to conclude my paper.
Thank you, Mr. Kalidas.
Yes, sir.
Now, just 1 or 2 observations because of the time constraints.
Yes, sir.
Now, of the 4 factors which you considered as the determinants of market price of equities of 6 commercial banks.
Yes, sir. Sir, as of my...
I have not yet completed.
Yes, sir.
Right? Out of these 4, which is the dominant factor?
Sir, the dominant factor among the 4 factors what I found is about net interest margin. That is a very important and essential for almost whether it's a small bank or a medium bank or a large bank. The net interest margin is very, very important factor for every bank.
Okay. Now, between public sector banks and the private sector banks, did you find any difference in the determinants? Say one factor playing a major role in the case of a public sector and another factor playing a major role in the case of a private sector.
Yes, sir. In case of public sector bank, what I found was earnings per share really matters. In case of private sector banks, the net interest margin really matters.
Why?
From the
Because
point of
whether they are public sector or private sector, both are now functioning in a homogeneous economic environment, because the government is not coming forward with budgetary support to the public sector. They have to stand on their own. So net interest margin is essential, higher NIM is essential for both. Okay.
yes,
Now the second thing is, say based on CV which you have computed, say in one of the cases. Now the CV as you computed, it works out to 2.2347 or something.
yes, sir.
That is roughly about 24%.
Yes, sir.
Based on that, you concluded that this is highly fluctuating. Is it correct interpretation of a CV result?
Yes, sir. Within the available.
Now, CV is less than 50%. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Of course, there are a few more because of the time constraints. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Madam?
Yes,
Sir,
madam.
I just wanted to know what is the rationale behind the factors that you considered, because whenever we talk about stock market,
Yes, madam.
there are various forms of efficiencies that we take into consideration.
Yes,
So
madam.
in that, even though it is a strong form of efficient, then it is not possible for us to predict the stock market prices. So with these ratios, would it be a right way to predict the prices and conclude that these are the factors which will be influencing the stock prices of
Yes, madam.
any stock for that matter?
Yes, madam. I had gone through around 50 literature review with respect to this particular title, and I found that I made a list of around 25 to 30 main factors. Among these 30 factors, I found these are the 3 important factors which affected in all the articles. In almost every research scholar, they have taken this information. It means these are the very important. Even bank also they consider. When it comes to banking law and practice, I found that whenever they are going to disclose their balance sheet at the end of the year, they'll give importance, focus of all this information, madam. Net interest margin, then earning per share, and even dividend also they considered. So some important ratios they continue. Among the many ratios, I taken these 3 ratios for the studies, madam.
Yes, yes, sir.
No. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can agree, sir. Sure, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. My question is, there are many researchers have been come up in the same line, like determinants of share prices of commercial banks. So, why did you conduct this study?
Sir, with respect to India is concerned, when I gone through various international literatures and national literatures, with respect to international literatures, they have done with respect to commercial banks, whereas in case of Indian market, they have less number of papers with respect to commercial banks. And I thought that because the commercial banks are playing a very significant role in Indian market and in Indian economic development as well as. So that's the reason I considered for this study, sir.
Did you check multicollinearity while running your regression? Because the variables what you used as dependent variables, there is a chances of getting having multicollinearity issue. Did you check?
Yes, sir. That is there, but I have taken only for it's my limitation of study what I considered.
That's they are the basic assumptions by which we run a regression. Prior to that, you need to check, kindly take care of it.
Sure, sir, sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Kalidas. Now I invite Srimati Spurti.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. This is Spurti from Gnanvikas Institute of Management Studies and Commerce, Biddi, Ramnagar district. My research paper title is A Study on the Rise of Digital Wallets, Consumer Preferences, Security Concerns and Future Trends. Coming to the introduction part of the research paper, in general we know wallets are meant for storing money. In the similar way, digital wallets refer to the software systems which we typically make use of for the purpose of storing money in an electronic form. Means it will comprise electronic commerce transactions, payment information, and it will enable the transactions to take place in a secure and quick manner. To give examples to the digital wallets, we do have Google Pay, Samsung Pay, Apple Pay, etc. So coming to the objectives of my research paper, the first thing is to understand the consumer preferences, means what and all the factors that are driving consumers to increase the usage of digital wallets for the purpose of payment transactions. That is the first objective. The second objective is to address the security concerns, means what and all the vulnerable areas that could negatively affect the rise of digital wallets, means usage, in its usage, what and all the factors in the security concerns that would negatively affect. And the third thing is to explore technological innovations. So what and all the technological advancements that have happened that would help out the digital wallets to rise in its volume with respect to its usage among the consumers. And the next thing is to predict market trends, means up to what extent it would grow in the upcoming 5 years. So this is what the objectives of my research paper. Coming to the research methodology, so the quantitative as well as qualitative research techniques are used, and the probability sampling technique is used for the purpose of collecting primary data, and the primary data is collected by distributing the survey questionnaire. The thing is, since it is based on random criteria, I used social media for the purpose of collecting primary data. That is, I have sent the questionnaire through the WhatsApp as well as Instagram platform. There was no particular criteria with respect to the selection. It was just random. That's why the probability sampling technique is used. Since each and every person is a consumer, each and every person makes use of digital wallet for the purpose of transaction in this Android and tech advanced era. So that particular criteria is followed, and the secondary data is collected from the existing literature and the databases. Percentage analysis method is used for the purpose of analyzing data. Coming to the findings of the research, as I already mentioned, the first objective was to identify the consumer preferences, means the factors that are driving consumers to make use of digital wallet. So the key areas that were identified, or the factors that were identified, were security measures and ease of use. Ease of use is nothing but the convenience that were driving consumers to make use of digital wallets for the purpose of payment transactions. And the second findings, according to the second objective, that is to address the security concerns, that were again approximately 65% of the participants expressed their concern about digital wallet security, particularly related to potential data breach and identity theft. So this is because of the lack of awareness, like sharing OTP and UPI PIN. So because of lack of awareness, few of the consumers were faced with the identity theft and potential data breaches, and in somewhere or the other, because of the rise in the cyber criminals, so this thing is also happening, and this would cause hindrance for the growth of digital wallets. Coming to the third findings, integrating biometric authentication and blockchain technology. So these are the two prime technological innovations that have been integrated into the digital wallets platform, so that were paving the way for the rise in the usage of digital wallets in the upcoming 5 years. So this data is collected from the secondary data sources, that is from the Forbes, and it got published in the year 2023 in the month of August. So in the Forbes, it has been particularly mentioned that because of the integration of biometric authentication and blockchain technology, so there is a rise in the usage of digital wallets in the upcoming years. Based on historical data and market trends, the market share of digital wallets is projected to grow by 20% in the upcoming few years, and this statistical information is collected from statista.com. So that the growth rate would be around 20% in the upcoming 5 years. Coming to the limitations of my study, the first thing is the sampling bias. As I already mentioned, the probability sampling technique is followed, because of which it could be difficult to generalize the findings as a whole. That is my first limitation. And the second limitation is the low response rate. As I already mentioned, I made use of social media, that is the WhatsApp group and Instagram. Though I have more followers, I was able to collect responses from just 100 people, to put it in an approximate way. So though there were more followers, the response rate was low. So this is the second limitation. And coming to the third one, so not all the factors affecting the growth of digital wallets were considered, only the prime things were considered. There could be other factors that would also drive the rate of adoption among the consumers with respect to the digital wallets for the purpose of making electronic commerce payment transactions. So coming to the suggestions part, what I would suggest is further proactive measures should be taken with respect to the security concerns. Though there are very good measures that has been already taken, like biometric authentication, blockchain integration and all, it could be strengthened further to prevent cyber criminals from hacking the financial data. And collaboration is to be encouraged among industry stakeholders as well as regulatory bodies. The reason behind which is what and all the rules and regulations that they will bring through, that should be in accordance with the current requirement. Obviously, it is done in that norm way itself, but what I feel is the collaboration should be strengthened further, and research and development activities should be taken in an interdisciplinary way, like from the technical forefront and from the financial forefront, and the results are to be integrated for the purpose of making digital wallet transactions much more transparent and much more secured. So this is all about the research. And to conclude, the rise in the trend with respect to the digital wallet usage is very good, and as I already mentioned, it is approximately about 20%. So this would pave a way for the shift from cash transactions to cashless transactions that would contribute in a much and more good way towards the digital economy, and it would pave for the sustainable development. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for the effective presentation. You are going to be a very good teacher, because we need the persons who deliver the goods more effectively. All of us have the same stuff, but delivery differs. But let me seek one clarification from you. There are 4 objectives. There are 3 limitations. More or less equal number of limitations. Don't you think these limitations have defeated the very purpose of your study? Because for each of the objectives you have a limitation.
Yes, sir.
Then what is the purpose? No, I am not questioning. Yes, I want to know.
Sir, the reason behind choosing probability sampling technique is, as I already mentioned, each and every one of us
Yes,
are consumers.
no, that is
So,
good.
yeah.
The reasons as to why you preferred this method of selecting the respondents is also convincing.
Okay.
But the thing is, if you do not give representations to different sections
Okay.
of the society,
Okay.
you will not receive
Okay.
diverse opinion. only when you contact people from different sections, you'll get different ideas.
Okay.
That makes the study more comprehensive.
Okay.
Otherwise, everyone will give the same opinion, homogeneous.
Yes,
The
sir.
very purpose will be defeated.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Okay. Okay.
You told that you have used probability sampling technique.
Yes, ma'am.
And while explaining, you told that you have prepared a questionnaire
Huh.
using a Google form and you've circulated.
Okay.
And that is not a probability sampling technique.
Okay.
It is a sampling wherein you have chosen who will be the respondents and
Okay.
you have tried to collect the information from them.
Mm.
So that cannot be the limitation or the process of collecting the data. Please change.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. I'll take care of that. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, one and all, respected dignitaries on the dais. I am Subramani SV, a research scholar. Today's topic of my research study is crowdfunding and startups and evaluation study. In India, every day, more number of startups are coming into existence, but unfortunately they are lacking funds. If they go for traditional sources of funds, especially banks, other financial institutions, they refuse to fund because they fear for non-performing assets, because a newly startup enterprises will not have any financial background or their financial creditworthiness. Because of that, many startups will fail in the before they think to start their ventures. So in this perspective, there are different alternative sources of funding to come to the rescue of startups. Due to crisis in 2008, America has found a new route to fund for startups. That is one of the major step where Mr. then President Barack Obama took one initiative to pass one act, Jobs Act. So they have motivated all the startups with the help of crowdfunding platforms and with the help of incubators, accelerators and all. So my keeping this as a problem, I have chosen this topic to study what are the existing scenario in India, what are the advantages or disadvantages. So just go. So crowdfunding, the meaning is, what is crowdfunding means? Crowdfunding means it is a collective efforts of friends, relatives and oneself, that collecting small amounts of money from large number of people to venture to fund a good cause. Maybe it may be a startup or for any social issues like health issues or due to natural calamities. If anybody wants to want the help of funds, this crowd will come to their help by contributing small amounts of money via the internet. So the various types of crowdfunding are, different methods are available for crowdfunding. Say debt-based crowdfunding is available. Here debt-based crowdfunding means, here the platform, one platform will act as an intermediary between the backers and well as fund seekers, where the backers will get their return in return for their contribution in terms of, that means in return, interest will be getting for their investments. And another form of crowdfunding is reward-based crowdfunding, where the backers will receive some rewards, maybe it may be tangible rewards or intangible rewards for their financial backing. The persons who are having innovative ideas can pitch their ideas in the crowdfunding platforms, and they can seek funds from these crowd or the persons who are interested to contribute in their ventures. If the backers are satisfied with the stories, they can definitely fund the project. There are so many instances, and there are so many examples in India also. So many people have contributed money to bring innovative ideas into reality. And donation-based crowdfunding. See, under donation-based crowdfunding, the funders here, the crowdfunding will not be, the backers will not contribute money for startups, but here the crowdfunding is given for any social cause. For example, if anybody is having any health issues, or for example, in case of organ transplant and all, if they are running short of funds or if they are very poor, they can approach crowdfunding platforms. They will tell their stories in the social medias, and they will seek funding from philanthropists and donors. Those people who are interested, they can contribute, and they can come to the help of those patients or any persons who have been affected by the natural calamities. So many examples are available when we see the literature. And equity-based crowdfunding. See, under this crowdfunding, it is not actually legal in India. It is legal in foreign advanced countries. So the SEBI has taken initiative to take some measures to bring some rules and regulations so that it can allow investors to collect funds through equity. It is just as good as equity what we raise for a company to raise capital. Because of some fraudulent practices which have been seen earlier, SEBI has not allowed this equity-based crowdfunding. So please, next slide, sir. So these are all the literature reviews which has contributed for the literature of crowdfunding and for the startups, how they have developed so many startups. I have shown very few here. Next, sir. So based on my review of literature, I found these are all my objectives: to explore the advantages of crowdfunding for potential startups in India, to understand the challenges faced by the startups when making the decision to use crowdfunding. So the methodology I used for this study is the use of secondary sources, because it is still in a nascent stage. To go for empirical study, this is too early to for investigation. That is why the secondary sources like research papers, articles, websites, e-newspapers, etc. have been studied in detail to know the significance of crowdfunding and challenges of crowdfunding for using startups. So after reviewing so many literatures, the advantages have been found like this. For it is advantages to founders, startup founders. It demonstrates an idea. It gives an opportunity for an innovator to demonstrate his idea and seek funding from the crowd, so that if the person is showing his potentiality and if the project is viable, everyone will come forward to fund his venture. Then credit history is not necessary. Like a traditional source, a conventional source of funding, banks will ask credit history. When we approach a bank, they will definitely ask our credit worthiness. They will ask financial statements, audited financial statements for the past 5 years or 10 years. But when the company is going to start early, they need seed funding. So banks will not be in a position to fund such type of startups. In that situations, crowdfunding will come to their rescue. So if you approach crowdfunding platforms, they may definitely help you. If the person who is seeking funds show his potentiality, if the project is really viable, if the project is really positive, it is proven, definitely there will be a chance of getting funds from the crowd. It builds a larger consumer base. If you show the story, if you pitch the story on the crowdfunding platform, before manufacturing a product, you can get early orders from the customers who are early adopters. And sponsored advertising, instead of going for advertising, when you seek funding from the public, the crowd on the social media, definitely it will spread a mouth of advertisements to so many people. And it is a cost-free marketing strategy, and it is a quick method of raising funds. You need not to wait for long, lengthy process of, as in the case of a traditional source of funding. And it avoids or reduces the burden of paying interest for banks. Banks may charge an exorbitant rate of interest to if the venture is very risky, they definitely charge higher rate of interest. And what are the next, sir, please next slide, sir. So then advantages to backers, it offers a great support for creative startups. If the funders are very eager to fund a startups and they are very keen, very enthusiastic to support a startup, definitely they will have an opportunity to help them. And it is simple for beginning. Crowdfunding is very simple. You can log in the crowdfunding platform, you can see the story, and you can help the startups which they may like. And opportunities for modest investment. As I told, crowdfunding is not for huge capital investments. It is for small amounts of money, maybe in thousands or lakhs together. Based upon the investors' capacity, they can choose this one. And it is a diversified portfolio investments. Sir, please. So these are all the very few crowdfunding platforms available in India. If anyone having a good idea or innovative ideas, or if they are having any social issues, they can approach these crowdfunding platforms. Kickstarter, Fuel a Dream, Indiegogo, and Catapult, Ketto, Wishberry, so many others are available. I have mentioned only very few here.
Now
Please.
try to summarize.
Okay, sir. So, due to time constraint, I will go in first. The challenges which are facing crowdfunding industry is to promote startups. Next, sir, challenges go. Sir. See, regulatory environment, still SEBI has not taken any initiative to go for equity-based crowdfunding. Only reward-based, donation-based, and debt-based crowdfunding platforms are available in India. And it is a limited investor base. Because of lack of awareness, this industry has not grown much. And the crowd market and limited funding amounts available for the startups. Post-funding responsibilities available for the startups, because once they have raised the funds, after funding, they have to stand for whatever the promises that they have made. But certain startups may not be able to follow whatever they have. They will not satisfy whatever the promises that they have assured at the time of raising the funds. Please, sir. So straight away I will go to the conclusion part. So for managers and even resolving social and ecological challenges, crowdfunding is an ideal choice for collecting money from multiple backers. Small and medium-sized businesses as well as brand new businesses could benefit from this choice, because it is undeniable that startups contribute for the development on Indian GDP and great opportunity for jobs. With this, I will conclude. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Professor Subramani. Just one or two queries.
Yes, sir.
Now, what about the certainty factor? Now you have an idea,
Yes, sir.
viable, you are planning to start, you have made the preparation, schedule, but there is no certainty about the funding.
So it depends upon the crowdfunding platforms where I have pitched my idea. If the crowdfunding platform is credit worthy, if it is, if the people trust that crowdfunding platform, definitely people will come forward to fund that. And another thing is the
Now
founders.
The people trust you and your idea, not the platform. Because they invest based on your idea, not based on the reputation of the platform. It is only a link,
Yes, sir.
a facilitator, intermediary. Now,
Sir, a facilitator will not take the idea as an investor. As soon as I approach, they will not accept. They will ask so many documents. What is your project? What is the certainty that you will give this assurance and all? Based on that, they only give their idea. They definitely will not accept as I take my project to that crowdfunding platform. They will definitely see what are the pros and cons of that my project, whether it is trustworthy, whether it will prove his idea or not. Only then only they will fund that. They will give an opportunity to
Okay.
put their stories.
thank you.
Thank you
Now
very
I
much.
invite Mr. Tippeswamy.
Respected sir, madam. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tippeswamy CB. I am pursuing PhD under guidance of K.R. Manjunath, Associate Professor, Department of MBA, Coimbatore University, Shankarghatta. My paper is, title is Forecasting the Stock Market Volatility. Volatility of Nifty 50 Index of NSE using by Arch model. So, go to abstract. So before going to telling the analysis of my paper, I have to tell you gist of my paper, what indicates. So in my paper, I did the based on secondary data, time series of Nifty 50 index, so index of NSE data. So whereas you use by Arch model, econometric methods with the Arch model and unit root test. So and unit root test. Next, go to introductions. So in the India is available two stock markets. One is NSE market, another one is BSE market. I have chosen NSE market, specifically Nifty 50 of index of NSE. Generally, stock markets is being high risk. When investors invest their money in the stock market, they will identify what is the scenario of the market. So in the market, how we forecast the market, how we identify the volatility of the market, and what is the price fluctuation of the markets. Before investing the money, so individual investors and institutional investors identify what is the volatility of the market. So it is hard to find the market volatility. So we are using some of the Arch models, econometric methods. Few of the authors capable to conduct this model to identify the market volatility through the econometric methods such as Arch models, Garch models, and T-Garch models. So go to objectives. My paper aims to focus on two objectives. One is objective of this study is to study volatility of stock market in NSE of Nifty 50 index. Second one is to analyze and forecast the volatility of fluctuation using by unit root test and Arch models. So data methodology, in my study, I am using data methodology. So like based on secondary data, so I have taken 5 years data of closing price of Nifty 50 of NSE. So in the analysis of article, so I am using descriptive method, stationarity, and unit root test and Arch models. So review of literatures. Before I am studying my study, I was read some of the articles who has contributed the research regarding to this area. So one is Sudan Banjard and Prem Chesward. They were published article in 2010. So forecasting the Thailand stock market is there where found variables affect on stock market's volatility. So another one is Panay and
Mr. Tippeswamy, kindly summarize the review of papers which I have reviewed.
Okay, sir.
And what is the uniqueness,
Okay,
what is the gap.
Okay.
Then you can go to the next aspect.
Okay, sir. This review of literature indicates, so find the return of the market based on volatility market and price fluctuation of the market. So then we go to the background of NSE. NSE was founded in 1992. So traded was started 1994. So NSE is a popular index as Nifty 50 index. Nifty 50 index composed 50 companies. This is NSE capitalization is $3.26 trillion US dollars as of 12th of April 2023. So it is the 9th place on the list of largest market in the world. So what is the functions of NSE means? Creating national-wide establishment. For example, from the starting, NSE not started index futures trading. So it was established 12th of June 2000 as launched the index future trading. So providing equitable investors across the country means NSE use the TCP and ICP based protocol systems for the access the trading activity for investors, and using electronic trading means NSE adopt the need strategy. Need strategy means automated national exchange for based on screen based trading. So for the access trading, So enabling better, faster settlement system means NSE follows the T+1 ruling system settlement. Means T+1 ruling system, settlement system is, so settlement have done the settlement within working days time. So this is, so in the NSE market traded number of products, when it's equity trading products, stocks, so Indian depository receipts and exchange traded funds, closed ended mutual funds, and fixed income government securities means government securities, corporate bonds and sovereign holdings, and derivative markets in the equity, indices and currencies, interest rates and commodities. These are the products are traded in the NSE. So next arch model, this models arch means auto regressive conditional heteroscedasticity, so which describe the financial data accurately. So what was the volatility in the market. So this model developed by Professor Angel 1980 for the purpose of forecasting the volatility and price fluctuation of the indexes. So it is a challenges to identify the forecasting futures volatility. So in 1986, another one author was developed, extended this model in Arch and Gorch and T-Gorch. So additionally, the structures, it denotes the some econometric formulas. So what is the result and analysis? So in the descriptive methods, is a mean is lesser than the median. There is a not right skewed distributions. So Cortotis value is greater than the 3. Generally, we consider the Cortotis value 3. So if we more than 3, there is a we say leptocratic distributions. Means time series data distributed more than the 3. So indicates that the distribution has a heavier tail, more extreme values than the normal distributions. So Jark-Bera test, it is a joint test of the null hypothesis of the normality. The skewness less than 3, the null hypothesis is rejected. The return series is subject to normal distributions. So then we find out the stationarity in the based on time series. Stationarity means distributed normally. So non-stationarity means distributed heavily of the time series data. So in the stationarity, the time series likely non-stationarity. So value associated between the among the variables do vary the time. Hence using Dickey-Fuller test means this is a non-stationary DT. We follows the Dickey-Fuller test. So we go to Dickey-Fuller test. Unit rate test. So in the unit rate test, we find the Dickey-Fuller test means the test statistics more negative than the critical value, which means p-value is less than 0.0 at the significance level of 0.01. So there is null hypothesis H0 is rejected. The time series is stationarity. So then Arch1 model is a find out the market volatility means independent variable. What is the variable of the dependent variables in the market? So the probability of the constant 0.01 at the 1% level of significance. It means p-value is less than the 0.01 significance level. The heteroscedasticity test was indicated the statistically significance of residuals too. It suggests the preceding square residual terms had impact on risk volatility. So,
try to conclude.
Conclude. So next one is the probability is 0.0. The heteroscedasticity test illustrate residual 2 term is also statistically significant. So level of significance which is implies volatility of risk influenced by the past square residuals. So then discussion and conclusions. So Arch1 model F statistics is 55.98813. P-value is less than 0.01. Null hypothesis H0 is rejected at significance level of 0.01. Therefore, Arch1 model is effects presently. So Arch model 2 is a 128.2881. P-value is less than 0.00 at the level of significance of 0.01. So null hypothesis H0 is rejected. So therefore, Arch model suggested model is effectively presented. So after analyzing the both models, we can conclude that Arch1, Arch2 are affected the Nifty index of NSE estimate on Arch models for better result. So these results is getting the SPSS and EV softwares. So this is all about the my study results.
Okay. What is the final conclusion?
So final conclusion means, so we are point out the volatility.
Right.
Nifty 50 is the right time or wrong time to invest money.
Right. Now, what did you find?
So here I am is the right time to invest money on getting profit of the shares. Thank you, sir.
Right. Friends, we have completed the
So-
presentation
Thank you, sir.
by all the 7. Now, kindly do not waste the time. If there is any paper presenter, let him come and present. Please don't waste the time.
So, I came here from Tamil Nadu. My name is V.R. Govindan, sir. Okay. Yes. Can I start? Okay. This is in our sustainable development now. We want to talk about financial inclusion. Financial inclusion is important to sustainable development. So I am going to talk about that financial private banks may what are the financial inclusion idea is private bank customers is having or not. That is the financial. This paper aims at understanding the perception towards financial inclusion among customers in private banks in Chennai. The massive job of achieving financial inclusion requires the active cooperation of all stakeholders. The work of providing banking and financial services, every individual in a society without any difficulties and bias is known as financial inclusion. That lack of knowledge about financial products, high transaction costs, expensive products, and low quality, cumbersome, rigid, non-customizable products are only a few of the issues that limit access to the financial products. Banks and other traditional financial organizations have a significant part to play in removing the barrier, not out of any sense of duty society, but rather out of pure business need. Financial inclusion is primarily concerned with giving trustworthy financial assistance to those in the economically disadvantaged part of society with discrimination. That is why it aims to offer financial solution devoid of any indications of inequity. It is also dedicated to transparency while providing financial support without any additional fees or unexpected charges. This study examines how clients of private banks in Chennai feel about financial inclusion. That is my purpose. The Indian government has been adopted a number of unique programs to promote financial inclusion. That is Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, Atal Pension Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Vyaya Vandana Yojana, Stand Up India Scheme, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana, Suganya Samriddhi Yojana, Jeevan Suraksha Bandhan Yojana, like that.
Now, kindly go to the findings of your study.
Okay. Since the transaction account enables people to store money and send the receive payments, having access to one is the first step towards greater financial inclusion. The scope of financial inclusion, according to Arjun Ram Mahawal, goes beyond just banking services to include other financial services including insurance, equity products and pension products. That also we have to put in this connection. And Ministry of State for Business and Finance does it well. It is well known that when there is a successful financial inclusion leads to improve financial stability, because people have access to variety of financial products and service, then that can aid in better money management. Another direct of effective financial inclusion is increased accountability and transparency in the financial industry.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Mr. Govindan. Now we were told that there are 2 more paper presentations, but I do not know where are they going to end. Now I'll give only 2 minutes each. Kindly go and take your seat. 2 minutes. Let them present the summary, unique findings of their study. Please.
Good evening, one and all present here. My name is Shivaswamy, Assistant Professor, Government First Grade College, Gundlupet, and my research guide is Dr. Divya L, Assistant Professor, JSS College, Ooty Road, Mysore. My paper, it is Development of Financial Literacy in respect to the regulatory bodies' initiatives in India. So as we all know that financial literacy, it is very essential for every human being who are living in this world to manage their financial resources effective manner. Regarding that, so it is an initiation of a government as well as the regulatory bodies has to be contribute and given an initiation to build the financial literacy programs to enlarge or enhance the skills of regarding the financial resources, how they have to use, and giving a knowledge to them and their behavior. Regarding this, we need to encourage them. So on this behalf of that, so the Government of India, Reserve Bank of India, and Security Exchange Board of India, and IRDAI and PFRDAI, these are the regulatory bodies are trying maximum effort to push up the financial literacy in India. So regarding that, so they were established an institution called like National Center for Financial Education during the year 2013, and with the help of that company, they are contributing and initiation various programs to build the financial literacy awareness programs. Among that, sir, next. So what is the previous one? Yes, goals of the next slide, sir. Yes. So the National Center for Financial Education, what it is, the main intention or goals are to be to develop the financial education across the country and to bring the financial stability about of a population, to create the financial awareness and empowerment of all sector of population through seminars, workshop, training programs. Like this they are trying, and to create the financial education study materials on electoral mode and printed mode. So regarding this, Security Exchange Board of India is given 13 languages they are providing the financial study materials, and Reserve Bank of India is conducting an annual financial week every year with one particular theme. Regarding that, they are trying to motivating and bringing an awareness since the
kindly conclude.
So my conclusion regarding this paper, it is, so financial literacy, it is essential. Even we are in the era of like developed nation and we are in the developing nation, it is essential to bring more financial knowledge to all the all sector peoples of our country. Thank you.
Next one.
Good afternoon, everybody. Respected dignitaries on the dais. Myself, Vijay Kumar, working as an assistant professor at Government First Grade College, Gundlupete. My research topic is a study on recent trends and challenges of banking industry with special reference to regional rural banks. The abstract of the study, the banking sector plays an important role in the development of an economy of the country. The growth of banking sector depends upon services provided by the banks to its customer in various aspects. In recent days, Indian regional rural banks witnessed so many positive changes with the introduction of technology into their operation. E-banking services like electronic fund transfer, telebanking, ATM, RTGS, these are all improved the customer satisfaction. In order to satisfy the customer, regional rural banks also get into the online banking services. These services provided by RRBs create various opportunities in the other sectors of the economy. Despite the several changes and growth in the banking and its services, it is also facing some of the challenges. The objective of this paper are to study the recent trends of banking sector in India and to identify the challenges faced by regional rural banks. The intended study is based on the secondary source of data. It is collected from various books, journals, articles, reports, and official websites. In regional rural banks. Okay, sir. For this study, I selected Karnataka Gramina Bank, one of the regional rural bank operated in the state of Karnataka. The Karnataka Gramina Bank having 1,112 fully computerized branches and 172 networked ATMs and 4,625 employees in order to serve its more than 1.25 crores of its customer. They concentrated on three aspects. One is convenience. For convenience of customers, the Karnataka Gramina Bank introduced KAGB mobile app and also Digi PKGB mobile applications. From that, the customers can open the bank accounts, e-passbook facility, and from Digi PKGB application, the customer can making payments anywhere and anytime. The second aspect they concentrated on efficiency. The Karnataka Gramina Bank will continue to invest in latest technology to make the banking experience more efficient. WhatsApp Messenger and 24/7 personal banking toll-free call service are available to answer the queries of the customer. And the next thing, they concentrated on transparency. The Karnataka Gramina Bank is committed to provide completely transparency in dealings with its customer. All charges and fees will be clearly communicated through their websites.
Kindly conclude.
Sure. Coming to the conclusion, strengthening the rural economy is very important in the countries like India, because more than half of the Indian population is located in rural areas. But currently only 19 regional rural banks are offering internet banking facility, while as per the current regulation, only those RRBs having more than 10% of capital to risk weighted asset ratio are allowed to provide internet banking facilities to its customer. My suggestion is liberalizing the regulatory standards and providing non-banking services such as services like debit and credit cards, locker facility, internet banking facility, mobile banking facility will definitely increase the customer satisfaction and profitability of the regional rural banks.
Thank you, Mr. Swami. I'm sorry for not able to give more time.
Sure.
Because of non-availability of information about the exact number. Right? Thank you very much.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank you, Anand.
Now, I request Dr. Chinnaya to summarize as briefly as possible. Right.
Good evening, respected sir and madam, and my dear friends. I don't take much time. I know we are already late. As we have had 10 papers, 10 research scholars have and presented their papers. The very first paper presented by Srimati Ashalata, it was on the topic of catalyst effect of examination, an examination of evolution of venture capital funding in India. She stressed the entry and exit of venture capital firms in the country, and she was also made an attempt to trace what are the reasons behind that. And the second paper was presented by Bhaveshri. It was about AKIMA, that is Association of Karnataka Microfinance Institutions. She made a financial statement analysis, and she stressed on why there is a decrease in the different ratios, or why there is a volatility of various ratios like proprietary ratios and other aspects she has stressed. And third paper was presented by Dr. Mahesh. He assessed the impact of centralized blockchain digital currency on the financial inclusion aspects. He stressed how important it is on the different aspects. Particularly, it throws light on sustainable development goals 1, 3, 8, and 9, 12, and 17. How importantly it plays role on upliftment of the society by contributing towards the growth of these goals. And the fourth paper was presented by Kalidas. It's about the impact level of select factors to determine the share price of select commercial banks in India. He made an attempt to examine what are the different factors contribute to the determination of the share price in commercial banks in India. And the fourth paper was presented by Spurti. It's about a study on the rise of digital wallet and consumer preference, security concerns, and future trends. She made an attempt by collecting a large sample of 100, and she also made what are the different reasons for preferring these wallets. And the sixth paper was presented by Subramani. It's about crowdfunding and startups. And he also made an attempt to examine what are the reasons we need to focus on the crowdfunding and how it may be helpful in the future for the startups. And the seventh paper was about the volatility, forecasting volatility of Nifty 50 firms, presented by Mr. Tippeswamy. He made an attempt to examine what are the factors contributing for the volatility of stock prices in the Nifty 50 firms. And eighth paper was presented by V.R. Govindan. It's about perception towards financial inclusion among the customers at private banks in Chennai. And we had ninth paper was presented by Shivaswamy. It's about development of financial literacy, regulatory institution initiatives in India. He stressed what is the relevance of regulatory institutions' intervention in the financial inclusion. And the 10th paper was presented by Vijay Kumar. He presented on the topic recent trends and challenges of RRBs. He brought out few things which has been implemented at different RRBs in the state. This is what the brief papers which has been presented over here. Thank you very much for the opportunity, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Chinnaya. Finally, let me conclude. There are many things to say, but because of the time constraint, let me focus on one or two things. Now, please pardon us for not able to give you adequate time, because we had no information about the number of papers, etc. So we earlier had planned to give 10 minutes to each and 2 to 3 minutes for interaction, hoping that there are only 7 papers. But a few teachers took more time than allotted. Now anyhow, I'm sorry for not able to give adequate time. Now the second point is, I should congratulate each one of you for the initiative. But remember, there are lot of areas wherein improvement is required. Say for example, when you prepare a research paper, a comprehensive study on the subject is necessary. Unless you go through literature on the topic on which you are planning to prepare a research paper, you will not be able to obtain a wider perspective, and you will not be able to hit the target. Instead of generalizing, instead of putting a lot of things in one paper, select one micro aspect, do justice to this. Number 3, now while preparing the slides for your presentation, don't reproduce the entire paper in your slides, because there is a difference between the papers and the slides. And the slides, you should follow 6 into 6 principle. Not more than 6 lines, not more than 6 words in a sentence. And you must be able not to read the paper, to present. Because you are invited to present the paper, not to read. With these few words, I thank once again this university, the all faculty members in the Department of Management, my friend Dr. Mahesh, Dr. Nalina, Dr. Chinnaya, and more importantly, my old friend Dr. Jairam Bhatt from Kuvempu University, who served Kuvempu University as the professor for a very long time. He was my colleague, and this institution provided me an opportunity to meet him. And I once again thank each one of you, and I wish all the best in your career. Thank you very much.
I hope we have reached to the end of the technical session. As all of us, we were very much witnessed about a detailed deliberations which took place in the technical session on finance and accounting areas. Sir has in detail, he has been explained about the things, and he has also given a lot of inputs in a brief way, how we need to prepare the research papers, how we need to present it, and how we need to prepare these slides. 16 to 6 principle, sir has clearly, very sweetly has given a tips for all of us. If you would have followed it, definitely, which will help us in our future endeavors. With these words, let me, I have a very profound to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. Today we have with us Professor J. Madegowda sir. I am a bit nervous, and because I could not able to speak out, he is my teacher. And the thing is, sir is known for his simplicity and work. I don't know what to speak on this occasion, but still it is my duty and privilege to propose the vote of thanks. Sir, thank you very much, sir, while accepting the invitation. In spite of his busy schedule, when we approached the sir, he accepted our invitation over a phone. I request sir to accept this memento with the token of love and affection. Today we have with us a speaker, Professor Nalina Madam. She known for the finance expertise in the area of finance. She also addressed keynote speech in the technical session on finance. Thank you, madam, for accepting the invitation on behalf of the university and on behalf of the department. We express our sincere gratitude and thanks. Kindly accept the memento with the token of love and affection. Thank you, madam. And we are also having my colleague Dr. Chinnaya, who was the rapporteur of the session. He has made his rapporteur presentation during the session, recorded and presented. Thank you very much for being chaired as the rapporteur of the session. And last but not the least, the audience, that is the paper presenters. You came all the way from the different parts of the state and parts of the country. Thank you very much for your active participation in the session. Thank you very much.